This podcast is brought to you by Men's T Clinic. Men's T Clinic is the team I trust with my total wellness optimization, and so should you. 5 DFW locations with North Frisco, Eldorado Parkway at Dallas North Tollway now open. Call 972-GO-MEN'S-T or visit mensteclinic.com.
With Farmers, you could get savings just for becoming a customer. It's a little extra something. So to tell you about it, we're adding a little extra something to this ad. Precious baby giggles. When you switch to Farmers, you could save an average of $437 on your home insurance. And that's a whole lot of something, baby. Aw, get a quote at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey data July 2020 to 21. Underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.
K&C Masterpiece back here on 105 through the fan right now. Brought to you by Ford, built for Texas, built for you. Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, guys.
How much more excited are you to be on with us today as opposed to a week ago today?
I think that goes without saying. Obviously, we went from playing our worst game of the year, and it wasn't just one or two people. It was across the board, I think, as a team, as an organization. We just, it's not what we expect out of this team to obviously playing at a high level across the board. And just hats off to the response. Starts, obviously, with Coach McCarthy and his staff, getting the players ready, and then, of course, our leadership on our team then stepping up and having a great week of practice, great energy, and really felt like they would respond. But obviously, you want to see it happen. But I really thought our team, from top to bottom, all three phases, came to play the game on Sunday, and certainly showed when we, when we're on top of our game, which we've been most of the year, other than 1 week. We can play good football.
I was hoping that you could walk us a little bit more, just specifically your mindset throughout the week. I know everybody said the right thing about the things you just addressed, and hopefully that being an anomaly and the worst game of the season. But was there ever a time throughout the week that you're like, man, maybe this is kind of what we are, or maybe this is this, or maybe this is that? Like, how do you maintain your confidence and focus?
Well, you certainly have concerns whenever you play like that, but have a ton of confidence in the team we've put together here. And whether it's our coaching staff led by Coach McCarthy, whether it's, our support staff, whether it's our players, just really felt like these guys would respond and come out and play like they played. So overall, you felt good about it, but you got to go out and do it. And all you have to do is look around the league. I mean, there's teams, I think every team in the league now has lost 2 games. And you look at those teams, and, if you don't come out with an edge in our league and you don't come out ready to play, you're going to get it handed to you. And certainly, unfortunately, we didn't come with that edge and with that energy against the Broncos. And we got the results that is what happens when that happens. And you turn around and you come out the next week and do it totally different, then you get a totally different result. And I think it's a great experience. We have a lot of young guys on this team. The good news is we got great leadership and some great veteran guys as well, whether it's a Dak or a Zach Martin, a Leighton Vander Esch. Those guys came to play and certainly set the tone for the week. And I think, we'll build on this and hopefully learn from it.
Stephen, I don't know if you take notes during the game or how you kind of keep track of some of your thoughts as you get prepared for your meeting with Mike McCarthy, but did you happen to just kind of, flag something that said, let's use Dak Prescott more as a fullback in goal line situations when we're up by 20-something points?
It was actually the opposite. Let's don't do that much. I think he ended up with a strawberry on his cheek, but certainly, that's it. That's Dak. At the end of the day, we have to protect Dak from Dak because he's the ultimate competitor. And, that's just the way he's going to play the game. He's going to play to win. He's going to play to score. That's what makes Dak Dak. And he's a fierce competitor. He's a great leader. He sets the tone for this team. Obviously, you could feel it in him all week long, that he had something to prove. And, he went out and, just did an amazing job with this football team. We're so fortunate to have him, but I will say I hope we don't see that much the rest of the year.
So, Steven, you have 3 block punts this year. We were talking about it earlier on the show that over kind of the history of, let's just say, the Jason Garrett run Cowboys, there just didn't seem to be many aggressive plays to block a punt. And this year, you guys keep getting these situations where guys are running free and being able to block the punt. Can you talk about the aggressive nature that you guys are going after trying to block punts now?
Well, I just think there's opportunities, that present themselves, and Bones does a great job of really game planning those opportunities. There's some games where it's better than others. And then the other thing I think, that we talk about in the personnel room is we do have good personnel on special teams. And obviously, Dorrance Armstrong's our main pass rusher out there during the game on defense, but he's still doing his job on special teams as well. It just shows you what a team guy Dorrance Armstrong is. He's an elite special teams player as well, and what a great job he did blocking that punt. And you want to take advantage of opportunities, and I do think our staff does a great job of doing their work, doing their game planning, and looking for ways to make big plays on special teams.
Whenever somebody like Dorrance Armstrong does show out, do you ever want to come on here and gloat? Since sometimes we give you a hard time about Dorrance Armstrong hype, and then when he does this, are you like, I told you, you joker should have listened to me all along?
Well, he's a great football player, and he's not above playing special teams. He does that at a high level year in and year out, but he also showed yesterday he can make big plays for us on defense. A great sack. We're lucky to have him on our football team. He's got great football character. He's been going through some things personally that we're all rooting for him in terms of losing a family member, but and working through that. But he's a pro, and as I said, we're fortunate to have him. I know he's one of Will McClay's pet cats when we drafted him, and he certainly played great football for us.
Stephen Jones joined us here on the KNC Masterpiece on 105.3 The Fan, your home of the Dallas Cowboys. We kind of were discussing this at length, and I know y'all talk about self-scouting, self-assessment, looking at yourself and saying, are we good enough here? Can we be better? And I know there are a lot of Tolos out there that are kind of frustrated by what's going on with Connor Williams on some of the penalties. And then we look at some of the snaps, and we're like, okay, we see what's going on here. Do you think the quality of play for him is good enough to go past some of the penalties that are happening, that the team can get by without worrying about it too much? Or does that position still need to – you kind of have to keep an eye on what's going on there?
Well, we've got to clean up the penalties. I mean, we don't want to – I mean, we've got to work through that. And some of the penalties are legitimate, and as most of them are. I mean, obviously, offensive holding, a lot goes on in our league, and you can't call them all, but – certainly, he's going down that line a little bit where I'm sure people are aware that, the number of penalties offensive holding penalties he's had. And, as Coach Philbin said in the locker room, we've got to clean that aspect of our game up. And you've got to improve as the year goes if you want to be a championship caliber team. Certainly penalties are an area where we can be better. And I know Mike's going to stress that with our team. He's going to stress it with his staff, with his offensive line staff. And I know we'll be better. Connor's a conscientious football player. He's a competitor, and I know it's certainly not up to his standard in terms of the penalties. But as you see, when you really turn on the tape and watch it, he does a lot of great things for our team. But as it is with a lot of our players, there's certainly places to improve, and that's one for him. He's got to clean up the penalty aspect of his game.
Now, I know Dan Quinn didn't want to go down memory lane last week, but he gets the game ball after. It looked like he had every intention of making sure he made a statement with this. He gets the game ball afterwards. Do you know where that game ball's going?
I haven't asked him where it was going, but I know the whole team was so fired up for DQ. I mean, he's got such energy, and certainly he wasn't at all pleased with the week before, how we played. As I said, it was an across-the-board loss for our team the week before, and I know probably more importantly than even beating the Falcons was to come back and clean up, a really subpar performance in terms of what we did not only as a team, but obviously in his area on defense. But as I said, it wasn't just that. It was special teams. It was offense. We just didn't play well, but I think everybody responded in a positive way, and certainly to do it. I know, we play guys on other teams that have played for us, and they certainly seem to play well. I know we played Xavier Woods up, and he played lights out, which is doesn't surprise me because Xavier Woods not only a really good football player, he's a really good person, and his competitive juices were flowing, and you could see him making plays. So I just think that's natural. That comes with the business of the NFL. You're going to end up going against your former team at certain times, and I think most competitive people, their juices flow at a higher level when they're playing against their former team.
So should we point out that, like, the Chiefs used to be in Texas and we need to hate them, or, like, how do we artificially drum that up?
Well, I don't think we need any motivation to get ready for the Chiefs after last night. I mean, certainly they looked like the Chiefs of old, of the past two Super Bowl teams in terms of how they played the game last night. I don't think anyone's going to need motivated to know we're going into a very difficult place to play, but also playing a great football team. And certainly they put it together last night, and it just so happens to be right as we're getting ready to go play them. So I don't think anybody's going to need motivation to come with their A game against the Chiefs.
I guess then I know next week is going to be the quick turnaround, but how do you guys work the schedule this week as you start looking at the Chiefs and then the fast turnaround against the Raiders next week?
I know the sole focus is the Chiefs this week. Certainly Mike will be working it with his staff on what the long-term schedule is, but I can promise you there's not anyone in our organization is going to be focused on what happens after the Chiefs, other than a few people who have to make those plans. And I know Mike's going to have the team, his staff, totally focused on going into a hostile environment and trying to get a victory against a great football team.
So you mentioned earlier Leighton Vander Esch's name when you were kind of talking about the leadership, and, Dak Prescott, that's really easy to tell that he's the leader of the offense, really the complete leader of the team. With DeMarcus Lawrence pretty much missing this whole season as of right now, would you point towards Leighton Vander Esch being the leader of the defense, or would that be Micah Parsons is more of the Dak Prescott of the defense?
Well, I just think they do it as a group on that side of the ball. Certainly we've got young players like Micah, like a Chauncey that are going to step up and, I think ultimately be leaders on this football team. But at the same time, I think as a group, we've just got players who have great football character that step up and really, hold each other accountable in terms of their preparation and what we need to do. Obviously, Leighton's been in the building. When you look at that defense over there, he's been in the building a while. I'd point to a Jaron Kearse, who's just having a great year as a leader, does a great job. So, it's just a good group of men who have great football character, who are all rowing in the same direction. Certainly Dak's leadership spills over to the whole team. But I mentioned Zach Martin. I mean, he's Tyron Smith are stalwarts in that offensive line room. I just think we got a great group of men who have a common goal, a common theme, which is to win a championship, and they do it as a group.
Now, it appeared as though y'all came out relatively injury-free yesterday. I wanted to know if that is factually accurate. And then since you mentioned the Chiefs, how do we feel about the prospects of Tyron Smith being ready to roll for the Chiefs game?
I think he's got a real shot. And injury-wise, I do think we came out of it. We'll see. We got a few guys we're looking at, and we'll see, who anytime you play an NFL football game, you're not going to come out totally unscathed in terms of having some things that you got to work through. And I know our guys will, but at this point right now, we don't think we lost anyone right now that can't play against the Chiefs. And I do think we'll add Tyron to the list of guys who will be able to step up and play.
I was just having this discussion. Do you think that you'll ever have the the team on paper that you thought you would have going into the season, like fully, completely healthy? And what do you think's been like the key to being able to adapt to all these situations as they come along this year?
Well, I do. I mean, I think, the good news is we hadn't really had any, catastrophic type injuries that we've lost key players for the year. Now, don't get me wrong, losing Jabril Cox is a tough one, losing Rico Dowdle, our third running back, who was really playing great football for us before his injury. I mean, those things don't help, but, our personnel department does a great job of, led by Will, of getting guys who can step up and take advantage of that. But when we look at, our guys on the injured reserve who are designated to return, these guys I think are going to be back in the next 3 or 4 weeks and hopefully ready for the stretch run. And, if we have some good fortune, we all know the NFL, they can, you can have these challenges in a heartbeat in terms of injuries or something to do with COVID, as the Pittsburgh Steelers had to work through with their quarterback. So, you have your challenges, but I do think we have an opportunity here to get back, 3 big-time defensive linemen and DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory and Neville Gallimore, who can really make a big difference. We'll see.
Now, we had the opportunity to ask Jerry this on Friday when WrestleMania tickets officially went on sale, and we're doing a WrestleMania ticket giveaway this week. Were you ever a big wrestling fan? And if so, who were you rooting for?
I was actually not, but I can say this. My wife's brothers who work with us in the organization were big wrestling fans, and I'm not quite sure. I'm sure Undertaker was one of them, but they like the wrestling deal. I don't think I ever caught myself just dying to get to a wrestling match.
But that'll change in April back for WrestleMania again, I feel like, right?
I'm sure I'll want to go out there and take a look for sure.
Smart answer, sir. Thank you very much. Congratulations on a huge win and a huge weekend. We will catch up with you again next Monday.
Hey, always great to be on, guys.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Stephen Jones, Executive Vice President of the Dallas Cowboys. Just something really interesting that he said to me, and I always kind of wonder how these two work together, is your question about, like the quick turnaround with the Raiders and everything. He's like, we're all focused on the Chiefs. But then you hear those mentions of we're all focused on the same big goal. Like, I'm fascinated how those two things work together. Like, big goal, only Chiefs. Big goal, only Chiefs.
Yeah, it's difficult to kind of daydream and also do the work at the same time sometimes. But
Yeah.
I think Kevin, if the good coaches know how to and when to, right? How to get them to see the mountain, but also how to get them when to say, hey, now it's time to really look at the mountain from back here. Because every step of the way you're trying to push that little rock, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to get each step up the mountain to get to the ultimate goal.
We're the KNC Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, we will give you our betting with Bassick update. Plus, it happened for this Olympian over the weekend.
Who?
Can we do the same thing for Mike? Talk about it next on The Fan.
Hello, I'm Jason Concepcion, former co-host of Binge Mode Ravenclaw with Gryffindor Rising, still repping the Night's Watch despite Season 8, and the host of Crooked Media's new podcast, X-Ray Vision. Every week, my guests and I will take you through the world of comic book movies, fantasy shows, and more. Join us as we deep dive into your favorite franchises, discuss fan theories, and the latest news. Listen now for free on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Farmers Policy Perks are that little extra something you can get when you're a Farmers customer. So to tell you about them, we're adding a little extra something to this ad, smooth saxophone riffs. When you have a Farmers home policy with guaranteed replacement cost, if your home gets destroyed, we'll pay to rebuild it regardless of your limits. Dig it. It's a whole lot of something. Get a quote at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Optional coverage not available in every state. Only available with select farmers-minded policies. Subject to terms and conditions. Underwritten by Farmers Trucker Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Angie's List is now Angie, and caring for your home just got easier. Whether you need help with routine maintenance or a dream remodel, Angie makes it easy to see reviews, compare quotes, and connect with top local pros who can get the job done right. Plus, you can see upfront pricing and instantly book hundreds of projects. No phone tag, just the work you need done at a time that works for you. Angie's got your to-do list covered from start to finish. Book your next home project today at Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.